Hey everybody, so I know a lot of us are working from home right now, and I was just wondering, how's that going for you? Are the kids driving you crazy? Or spouse maybe, significant other, are they driving you crazy? Or is everything going smoothly and perfectly for you? Or are you a little bit like me and you're going stir crazy and looking for ways to be productive? What's going on in your world right now? Let me know. But since so many of us are working from home, I wanted to take this opportunity to do a video on 5 ways that we can be productive working from home. You know, for me personally, it has been a struggle because I like having my dedicated space at the office to get my work done. When I'm in the office, I am in full work mode and I am focused and in the zone and trying to get as many homes sold as I can. But when I come home, usually that's my oasis. That's my personal space. That's where I like to just be super zen and relax. I don't like to have to work from home very often. I like that I have the ability to, but I don't like having to do it all the time because then it really, takes away from the calmness and the zen feeling that my space provides to me. But, here we are nonetheless, trying to make the most out of it. So forcing myself to think of ways to be productive. I came up with these 5 tips on how we can increase our working from home productivity. So without further ado, here is tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to create daily checklists for yourself. So I've learned that when I don't have a checklist, I don't really know what to do with my day. And I feel like I end up wasting a lot of the time either on social media or maybe I sleep in a little bit too late, whatever it is. I think having those daily checklists are super, super helpful. And not to mention, every time I cross an item off that list, a little shot of dopamine goes to my brain and it feels great. And so I think that's something we could all use right now is more dopamine going to our brains, right? Okay, so tip number 2 for being productive at home is to come up with a planned system for learning. And so whether it's, a online course that you wanted to take that you've been procrastinating signing up for, or maybe it's a book that you've wanted to read but you haven't actually opened it yet, whatever that is, come up with some kind of system for learning and give yourself either 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day to achieve that goal of learning whatever it is that you want to learn. So for me, I struggle with reading books. I'm really bad at opening a book and actually finishing it and reading it all the way from front to back. But I'm much better with Audible. So I've got 3 books, whether you like to read or listen to books, whatever it is, these books are on Audible, and they're also tangible books that you can buy in the store as well, or in the online store right now. So my top 3 favorite book recommendations are Think and Grow Rich, and How to Win Friends and Influence People, and The Compound Effect. So Think and Grow Rich talks about how we can expand our mindset and come up with a plan to actually, put out into the universe the things that we want to bring into our life. And in the book about, Thinking and Growing Rich, it talks a lot about money. So the plan in Think and Grow Rich is to figure out how much money you want to make, when you want to make it by, and write out a plan every single day on what you're going to do to earn that money. And so I've been doing that every single day since November, and it's been working out fairly well, but I need to commit to it more. So I probably need to listen to that book again. But anyway, great book, super impactful, lots of really great ideas on how you can be productive and grow your wealth. Another book that I really like is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read this book about 5 or 6 years ago, right when I was getting started in real estate, and I think it made a huge impact on the way that I communicate with people. For instance, you meet people all the time that say that they're really bad at names, like, oh, I'm so bad at names, I'm so bad at names. Well, if you're bad at names and you continue to say that you're bad at names, then you're going to continue that down that path, right? But if you actually force yourself to try and be good at names and actually learn people's names, come up with ways that you can, reiterate people's names, pronounce them correctly, say them back to them, and you can actually use somebody's name correctly, they're going to remember that and really appreciate it, especially if they've got a difficult name to pronounce, right? My name's not even that difficult, but a lot of J names are common, so people call me Jennifer or Jessica, and it just come on guys, don't call me, that's not my name, right? And we get offended when people call us by the wrong name. So in How to Win Friends and Influence People, it talks about the importance of learning people's names, among other lots of really great takeaways. Uh, and then in the third book, The Compound Effect, I love this book because it talks about, how we have these daily habits and how they contribute to our lives over the course of time. And so if you take one person who says to themselves, you know what, I'm just going to have one beer a day because I can, right? Like I work really hard and I'm just going to have one beer a day from here on out, right? No harm, no foul. It's not like I'm getting drunk every day or whatever it is. It's just one beer a day, right? And then there's another person that says, I'm just going to go for a 10 or 20-minute walk every single day, right? Just because they want to get, more fit or whatever it is. They just want to live a healthier lifestyle, right? So you take these two people and you look at them over the course of a year. There's probably not going to be like a big change in the way that they look or the way that they act or feel. But according to the book in The Compound Effect, if you take a look at their lives 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, the difference between, the person who is drinking, just like one beer every single day versus the person who is just walking an extra 15 minutes per day, you'd be amazed at how far apart they are when the 20-year mark or the 30-year mark comes around. And so setting yourself up for success down the line by creating good habits now is super important. And I've personally become super obsessed with tracking habits over the past few years, and The Compound Effect is therefore one of my favorite books. So I highly recommend those three books. Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and The Compound Effect. So if you are looking for book recommendations, hopefully you guys like one of those, if not all three. Okay, so tip number 3 is to just take some time for yourself to think. I know so many people who have a million thoughts constantly running in their brains, and they're always so go, go, go. They're super, super busy, but they never have a moment to just sit and breathe and think. So while we're all working from home, find 10 or 15 minutes out of your day to just really give it to yourself. Like, give yourself that time to think and be alone with your thoughts and really grow your thoughts, right? There's so many different types of meditation that you can do. Maybe just Google, like I did. I actually Googled how to meditate because I had no idea how to do it. And I found all these different types of meditation. So depending on the mood that I'm in, I'll practice one form or the other. Another thing that you can do, though, to just give yourself some time to think. Maybe you're not a big fan of meditating, or you don't know how to do it, you don't want to learn how to do it. Another thing that you could do is journal. Journaling, I think, is super therapeutic. It's very helpful, and it gives you something to do that embeds things into your brain, right? So if you're journaling affirmations or gratitude, something like that, if you journal visualizations, I think that those kinds of things help put the positive things that we want to achieve out into the universe, and that law of attraction really brings it back and brings those things into fruition for us. Now, it's not a guarantee. You can't just think it and it happens all the time, but the more that we do it, the more we control our thoughts and focus on the things that we want to achieve, the more likely it is that they'll actually happen. So just do yourself a favor, take 10 or 15 minutes out of your day and just think. Rest, breathe, be at peace with yourself. You'll thank me for it, I swear. All right, so tip number 4 is another one of these tips where it's a lot easier said than done. But here we go. Tip number 4 for increasing your productivity while working from home is to set a timer for the non-productive activities. So whether it's getting lost on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, or maybe you're online shopping for new clothes, whatever it is that is not super productive, just set a timer for yourself, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Set a timer for yourself. Allow yourself that time to get distracted and to dilly-dally and to focus on the non-productive activities. And then once that timer goes off, then you can go back to being productive and getting your work done from home. I think that timer is going to save your life and prevent you from lots of rabbit holes that you would go down on the internet if you didn't set the timer. So I hope that tip number 4 is helpful for you. All right, so tip number 5 for increasing your productivity while working from home. This is actually probably the most important tip, if not the hardest tip to accomplish, is setting up multiple forms of accountability. So by setting up accountability, I think that increases our chances of actually getting things done. Because if you tell yourself that you're just going to hold yourself accountable, chances are you're probably not going to achieve the things that you told yourself you were going to achieve, because you're probably going to tell yourself that you don't need to do those things, or you'll do them later, and then you end up procrastinating, and then they don't get done. So in the first tip, I mentioned having daily checklists is super important. And so my virtual assistant, Roxanne, she actually put the daily checklists into this app called Asana. And on Asana, she can see whether or not I'm checking off all of the things that I put on that checklist for the day. And so her job is to hold me accountable to make sure that I'm actually achieving the things that I said that I was going to do on my checklists. And if she sees that I'm not checking certain things off, she'll send me a text message and ask me how I'm doing, or she'll give me encouragement to tell me like I can do it, or she'll give me judgy faces and side eyes and be like, why aren't you doing this? You said you were going to do it. How come you're not doing it? And I really love her for that, because when she sends me those kinds of messages, it really encourages me to get off my butt and do the thing that I said that I was going to do, because I was probably not setting a timer and I ended up dilly-dallying on the internet too much. So highly recommend setting up multiple forms of accountability if you can, but definitely have that one person that's your rock that you can go to, because that will help you achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. So I really hope you guys like this video. Definitely leave me a message. Let me know which one of the 5 tips resonates the most with you, or which one you think is maybe going to be the best one for you to implement into your life. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys all make the most of your time working from home. Thanks a lot. See ya.